India, a beautiful country filled with breathtaking landscapes, diverse people, and a rich cultural heritage. It's a country located in South Asia, spans from the Himalayan mountains to the Indian Ocean. Its position has long made it a crossroad of culture and history. It's known for a plethora of wonders, such as vibrant colors, spices and flavors, and much, much more. But behind all this marvel and beauty lies a terrible secret. Let's be honest, most of us don't ever think about what happens to all the mess we leave behind. Out of sight, out of mind, right? But there's a whole different world just below our feet. That's where a group of people called manual scavengers do work no one wants to talk about. So, what is manual scavenging? It's not a fancy job, but it's about cleaning up human waste from toilet, sewers, and drains. Yup, by hand, sometimes literally by hand. Tools, sometimes given just a bucket and a brush, gloves, and proper gear? No, not always. It's a dangerous and dirty job, and let's be real, it is deeply unfair. How did this even start? Well, we have to go back anywhere from 100 to even 1,000 years. You'll find work mentioned in the ancient Indian texts, where it starts off with the people in the lowest social order being forced to do work such as this. And from there on, you can even fast forward to the Mughal Empire, where people building fancy bathrooms meant someone had to clean them. Guess who drew the short straw? And then, moving on to British times. The cities grew. Did they invent cool new ways to deal with the waste? No. They just hired entire communities to do the job instead and even called it a government post. Even after laws were banned of this practice in 1993 and once again in 2013, it still goes in secret and with families stuck in the line of work for generations. To learn more about this, let's start off in Bangalore, where we asked actual manual scavengers on the field as to their experiences during work. Note, their responses have been translated with slight tweaks for easier narration. What difficulties do you face at your work every day?
Every morning, even before the sun rises. I start my day knowing that I will once again have to descend into filth. The stench hits you first. It clings to your clothes, your skin, your mind. Even after I wash, after scrubbing hard, it never really goes away. The work itself is dangerous in ways most people cannot even imagine. We go down into manholes and septic tanks with little more protection than a stick, a bucket, and sometimes just our own hands. There are times when the gases make it hard to breathe. I've seen men collapse and never get up again. I've seen friends die this way. My hands are always covered in cuts and wounds, and the infections sometimes they fester for weeks. But maybe the biggest pain is not in my body, but in the way people look at me. On the streets, people move away from me. They look down on me with disgust or pretend not to see me at all. Even when I try to go to the market or send my children to school, people know what work I do. My children tell me that other children laugh at them or call them names. I see the shame in their eyes and it breaks me. For us, every day is a fight, and not just for food, but for some dignity in a world that refuses to give us any.
What does this job mean for you?
It is impossible to call this job like others mean it. For me, it feels like a punishment I was born into, with no chance to escape. I do this work not out of choice or interest, but because if I don't, my family will go hungry and they will starve to death. Every day, I carry the burden of my family's survival, but also the burden of shame because the society says this work makes me less than a human. Sometimes I dream of a life where children can go to school, dress like others, where they don't have to hide who their father is. They can have their hope. But I've learned not to hope for much, because life beats it out of you. I keep going because somebody has to put food on that table. In my heart, I want my children to get out, break free from this never ending circle. But deep inside, I'm afraid that the world will keep them exactly where I am. In every sense, this work is the evidence that our value is measured only by how invisible and silent we're meant to be.
So, what's the cost of nice, clean cities? The streets without nasty odors or overflowing drains. It's people's lives. From 2011 to 2019, over 1,000 manual scavengers have died on the job. That's not a typo. Toxic gases, sudden floods, infections. These workers face them every day. Just in the last 5 years, official numbers say more than 400 lives have been lost. And those are just ones we know about. Many more deaths are swept under the rug. Every number on those lists is someone's family, someone's loved one, all because the rest of us get to walk clean streets and use spotless loos. Now, let's ask as to what the workers on the field have to say about this. So, how did you get into this job?
Where I come from, this work is handed down like a curse. My father was a manual scavenger. So was my grandfather. From a very young age, I watched him get up early, put on old clothes, and head out to work. I remember him coming back exhausted, covered in grime, but he never complained. He knew he had no other choice. When I grew old enough, I was taken along to help him. There was never really a moment of decision. I was just brought in when they needed another hand. I tried to dream when I was young. I wanted to be a mechanic or a bus driver. But when I went to look for work, people saw my name, my address, and they turned away. I wasn't even given a chance to prove myself. It's not just what we lack in education. The moment people find out our caste, the doors are closed. Even the government jobs, reserved for people like us, often go to those who have influence or money, never to someone like me. Most of my friends from my neighborhood face the same destiny. There is no choice, only resignation. For us, this is not work, it is a cage built generations ago.
How did this job affect your personal life?
Manual scavenging consumes everything. I come home tired, barely able to talk to my wife or play with my children. My wife worries herself sick each day, wondering whether I will return or become one of many men who die in a manhole. Sometimes I am too tired to eat. The constant illness, the coughs, the fevers, and the skin problems all make it harder to sleep, harder to have any energy for my family. The effect on my family's social life is worse. We are not invited to festivals or weddings. Even within our own community, people keep their distance because our work is seen by many as polluting. My children bear the heaviest weight. They face insults and harassment at school, are sometimes made to sit separately during meals. My daughter once came running home after someone called her the daughter of a bhangi, and I saw her cry alone in the corner. All I could do was hold her and apologize for something that is not even her fault. All of this destroys you from inside. Feel the world closing in tighter every single day, making it harder to breathe. You dream of something as simple as sitting with others, sharing a cup of tea without feeling ashamed or looking down on. I want my family to feel proud, but instead, I see how broken this job makes us feel.
Manual scavenging has been banned for decades, but across India, men still climb into sewers unprotected, unseen, unheard. Many die, few are counted. The government claims progress, laws, schemes, campaigns, but on the ground, little changes. No accountability, no justice, just silence. This silence is deadly. It allows the system to survive and the victims to disappear. Change won't come from promises, it must come from us, from citizens who speak up, who demand justice, who stand for those forced in this inhumane work. Because looking away makes us part of the problem, and no nation can rise while its most vulnerable are forced to clean its waste by hand and in shame.